Let's get ready for these conference championship games, and we still have that Bucs Levy Grail to do today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup.
Joe, you think you are slick, but you are not. I know that was you in the picture at the Buffalo airport last night.
Listen,
I know it was you. It was not Brian Daboll.
I wouldn't mind it if I wasn't like a foot taller than Brian Daboll. You know what I mean? I remember when he was hired as the Bills offensive coordinator initially. We're at the Senior Bowl, and I was walking behind him, and I'm like, man, that guy's shorter than I thought he was going to be, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, that's...
You got the blue collared shirt, got the jacket over the top. You're standing in front of that bookstore. Very little question of what airport it is with that bookstore, right? Like,
right, yeah, you know that there's the one bookstore, Buffalo Airport. Yeah, I know all about it.
Your unique identifying staple before you go down the concourse there in Buffalo.
Hey,
I know that was you.
The Buffalo Airport is a dream. In and out, quick, smooth, never busy. It's amazing.
As somebody who's getting ready to go to the Philadelphia International Airport.
Yeah, opposite of that.
In 48 hours from right now, I'm going to be at Philadelphia International Airport.
What you're hoping for is you show up and you see those dogs, the dogs that do the help with the security. If those guys are there,
I got pre-check.
Oh, okay. You got all that kind of stuff. All right. Well,
yeah, I travel enough, right? Like combine, training camp, couple games a year, Senior Bowl. Hopefully Charlotte at some point this year. Fly down, see Joe Marino, but not for this winter storm that's the size of.
Hey, we loaded up on milk, baby. We did. I told my wife. I said, "Yeah, we got kids, man. Could you imagine not having milk with your kids?"
Yeah, no,
it'd be a nightmare. Like no one's going to sleep. Like what do you mean? You can't have it. Can't have it.
We gotta have grandpa's cough medicine if we don't got milk. Right?
We got to do. All right, it's a conference championship weekend. Patriots, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. So we're going to preview both of those games and give you our picks. And then we have the Bucs Levy Grail to get to. We'll close today's episode with that. No, we didn't forget. There's been a little bit of news along the way that has stiff-armed us from being able to get to it, but we will have our moment with the Bucs today. Okay, Kyle. The Patriots are traveling to Denver to face the Broncos without Jarrett Stidham.
Or with Jarrett Stidham.
With Jarrett Stidham, the Patriots road favorites by 4.5.
Feels right? Like the concern is the quarterback change and the great unknown. In some ways, maybe it's like a play calling advantage to have some different strengths and early in the game, like if Stidham's able to execute it, like maybe you operate a little bit differently with some concepts that he's more comfortable with as compared to what Bo Nix is comfortable with. The stat that I saw that was really interesting to me was the offensive line grades and metrics for the teams that the Patriots played in the first two rounds of the playoffs, the Chargers and the Texans.
Not good.
Versus where Denver ranks.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Like it's a massive leap. I think that's a really compelling matchup that I think Denver's was going to have to lean on anyway. But now with the quarterback shift, I think it makes it that much more of an X factor in the game and how up this Patriots defensive line is to make sure that their level of play, that they've been very, very good through the first two rounds of the playoffs, doesn't drop off against Denver.
I I'm open to there being a path for Denver to get this done with a backup quarterback. I think Stidham, obviously there's not a ton of like regular season experience that you point to, but he's been a really good player in the preseason. And with all due respect to the Denver Broncos, I don't necessarily think that they're in this position mostly because of quarterback play. Certainly Bo Nix had some huge moments late in games, but I don't think he's played consistently well this year. And it's really been about their defense. And so can their defense win it for them? I think there's a chance. They're at home, which is a huge advantage, the altitude, those things. But also Drake May, for as good of a player as he is, he still takes sacks and fumbles the ball. Well, guess what Denver specializes in doing? They have the rush talent to really stress the protection, to stress Drake May. And if you can force him into some mistakes, which he's made plenty of in this postseason so far, and you capitalize on it, it could be a reasonable path for Denver to, hey, keep it between the lines, Stidham. Let's run the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Play defense. We're at home, and see if we can't pull it out.
Well, and a large part of the appeal of what Nix was coming out of Oregon that we liked so much was he's going to execute what Sean Payton calls, right? And like Stidham, I think, has enough experience that you can do. Maybe you don't have the same outside of structure success where that's when Bo stepped up in some big moments with some outside of structure stuff. Maybe you have to have a little bit, I don't want to say training wheels, but like maybe there's some more schemed targets, and then you spread the weight of it to the skill players to maybe break that one extra tackle on the perimeter.
Sure.
You take some of the throws down the field away and try to just really stay ahead of the sticks. If Denver's going to pull this off, I'm not saying this is like Sean Payton's entire legacy, but this is a legacy game moment for Sean Payton as an offensive play caller to navigate the change, push the right buttons. And he's largely done that all season long, like in a lot of these like situational moments to dial up these right plays. And then they just go out there and they execute well. So I'm with you. I don't think this is like open and shut, slam dunk. Oh, the Patriots got a backup quarterback, game over. Like they're rolling. I think this is going to be a pretty tight to the vest game. And I think it's going to be one or two mistakes or bounces of the ball that's really going to determine who wins.
Well, make no mistake about it. If this winds up being what you kind of described there as a coaching staff is able to really elevate Jarrett Stidham and position him to win the game, I give all credit to future Bills head coach Davis Webb and none to Sean Payton. So let me just go ahead and get ahead of the narratives here. That is Davis Webb who did that.
Very well done.
So all that to say that I'm picking the Patriots.
Yeah, I think the way that New England's played, the way in which the skill group around him has elevated versus what the questions were with the skill group around Drake May at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
The safe assumption is pick the quarterback in crunch time that you believe is going to make the plays, right? I'm going to go with you and pick New England, but the conviction rate is not super high.
I'm just not going to be stunned if we come back on Monday and talk about the Broncos going to the Super Bowl. Again, I'm picking New England.
Yep. And that's what you hope for in a conference championship game, right? Like,
well, you'd hope to see Bo Nix, right? Their starting quarterback would.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You want to see everybody healthy and at max capacity, not necessarily the realities of the game, but you don't want these conference championships to be letdowns. And I thought some of the divisional round was letdowns. Like we said, usually the divisional round is kind of like the deluxe super competitive across the board. I thought we had two highly competitive and entertaining games, and we had two kind of letdown games.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have two highly competitive games, probably with different flavors to them. I think this one's going to be a 12-round, like, slugfest, knock it out. Not a very high-paced game, though. I think both of these teams will be content to kind of possess, take the time. Just don't set somebody up on a short field, because that's how that game will get away from you. I'm rolling with you, and the show likes New England to cover the 4.5.
All right. We'll get to the NFC side. Rams, Seahawks, round 3. We'll do it next, folks. Be sure to stick with us. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's people moving on the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply the knowledge. Now I actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play-by-play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the United States. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. The NFL season has been awesome, and there's nothing like being at the game. The crowd noise, the energy, and cheering alongside other fans. Watching at home is great, but being in the stadium hits different. The frustrating part has always been getting tickets, waiting in queues, dealing with logins, and watching prices change right at checkout. That's why the Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. The app is incredibly intuitive. Browsing, comparing, and buying tickets will only take you a few minutes, and you'll love being able to see the view from your seat before purchasing, so there's no surprises. Speaking of no surprises, you're going to get the entire fees up front, so the price you see is exactly what you pay. So take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today and get back to being there live.
This is our next to last game of the season.
I know.
The season.
I heard that, but I do that stuff all the time. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't criticize that. I've done that so many times. I probably did that in the ad read I just did. Is that actually?
Yes.
Okay.
The beginning of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm not criticizing that. It sounds like something I do.
And I do it every show as well. Probably 3 times.
Blend together some words.
I'm halfway through finishing it and I hear myself doing it. I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, I can't stop it.
Dude, I said Spags on Locked On Bills today, and my voice completely cracked. And whatever, it is what it is. I'm 28 minutes into this podcast. That's going to be what it's going to be.
I'm not going to do an edit and a cut here. 28 minutes in.
Yeah, pretty bad. It's a pretty bad one. But I was like, all right.
As soon as we're done here before.
You'll find it. Yeah.
The Jeff Athley, John Eric Sullivan press conference at 11 o'clock. I'm going to go hunt that one down.
Yep, it's in there. It's in there.
Great. Well, we also in the NFC Championship. It's 2 teams from the NFC West, the Seahawks and the Rams. And these games, the last 2 times they played, did not disappoint. This is the check your pulse game of the weekend because, man, Seattle had how many turnovers and then lost by 2 points the first time they played and then win for 2 in a 38-37 shootout the second time they played?
An unbelievable collapse late by the Rams.
They do that sometimes.
Right.
Will they do it against Sam Darnold and his flaky oblique this week is the question.
Yeah, that second matchup between these two is just kind of crazy.
Like one of the games of the year, man.
Yeah, we have 1,000 yards of offense. You know what I mean? Like a 37-38 game between these two teams where you kind of like respect both defenses, especially Seattle.
Yeah.
The Sam Darnold oblique thing makes me pretty nervous. I do think there's going to be a lot more required of him this week compared to last week.
Yes.
And I mean, this is a Rams defense that I think has had some challenges lately, but they still have like some dynamic potential with their front to create negative plays and put Sam Darnold in some tough spots. And I still struggle to have a lot of trust in Sam Darnold in those moments. I wish the Rams were playing better overall. But
that's the thing, right? Like we're concerned, all kinds of concern about Sam Darnold, but like Stafford has not looked to the MVP standard for much of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs like we thought he was going to.
Yeah, really the last couple of weeks of the season too, right? It's been like
it's like just 5-6 weeks now of like can you flip the switch?
Yeah.
And if you can't flip the switch in this one, this is not the defense to play or the special teams unit, really. I think Seattle, if you put all 6 units on the table, special teams, offense, and defense, I think Seattle, I think their defense is better than the Rams' defense if we're just like going like bar for bar, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a massive chasm between what Seattle special teams unit is and what the Rams special teams unit is. I mean, special teams has kind of been like a thorn in the side for the Rams going back to when they blew that Eagles game early this season.
Yeah. Yep.
All kinds of mistakes. So it's scary to have Seattle be at home and have this on the line. And then, oh, by the way, you could argue the Rams have the better offense, but Stafford's not really playing well the last month.
Man, they were +3 in turnovers against Chicago, and the game went to overtime.
And
and they scored 20 points in a win against respectfully, not a great Bears defense.
I think their defense is good.
You do? I think they're very good at taking away the football.
I think that all fits in the calculus of defining what's good and what's not.
They're 23rd in scoring, 29th in yards, 28th in yards per pass, 29th in rush yards. I mean,
all right, so let's take this game down to this. Seahawks.
The Bears, by the way, not go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think Seattle can replicate averaging almost 7 yards a carry?
No.
Like they did the last time they played?
No.
See, I would agree with you, but I also didn't think Seattle was going to be able to run the ball the way that they did in the divisional round against San Francisco. Not like that.
Yeah, their rush offense has been a big story here lately. They've been cooking the last 4 games. I think they're like over 150 yards each of the last.
They're rolling in that respect.
It's a big deal.
And again, they averaged 7 yards a carry the last time they played the Rams, who do not have the biggest of all fronts.
I know. This is a hard game to pick, man.
My heart wants to say LA, but the more that we sit here and talk about it, I'm like, is the only thing tethering me to pick the Rams the fact that I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl that led like the beginning of the postseason and the beginning of the year? Because if Stafford was playing well, I think it would be very easy to just talk yourself into the Rams have been here before. Stafford's the better quarterback, made for the moment. I think I'm going to pick them to win the game.
That's what I'm going to do.
You are going to do that.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams.
We just did our squad show yesterday and picked the Rams too. So I probably should pick the Rams.
It's a reluctant pick, I can tell.
Congruency's sake. What game do you have better confidence in? Picking the Patriots or picking the Rams?
Probably the Patriots, but not by much.
And you just got done saying at the end of segment 1 that you wouldn't be surprised if we came in on Monday and talked about how the Broncos are playing in the Super Bowl, right? So
right.
Pretty good odds going either way. Just to make things interesting on this show, I'll pick Seattle. So I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. So it's just if you are not a Dolphins squad consumer, pretend like don't go listen yesterday where I picked the Rams. But as we've been talking through this, I think you just build more and more compelling evidence as you sit here and talk through the game. That's like Seattle. Here's what tips.
It's a hurt Sam Darnold, right? You know what I mean? Like that's right.
Yeah, I get it. But did you watch the promo video that the Seahawks put out on Twitter yesterday?
Dude, all the promo videos have me hype. I think every team's going to win every time I watch them. How can you lose after people put together a video like this?
Like that, right?
Yeah.
I think two of Seattle's units, I think, have marked advantages over the Rams. Seattle's at home. They ran the ball highly successfully the last time they played the Rams, and they've run the ball exceptionally well the last month of the season. Stafford's not played great. All that adds up. Give me the Seahawks. Talk myself into it.
All right. Kyle and I will be different on that one. So I have Patriots-Rams round 3 in the Super Bowl. And you have Patriots-Seahawks round 2?
That's right. Seattle, run the ball in the goal line. Run the ball in the goal line.
All right. Bucs, Levy Grail, next.
That's it. It's coming your way next.
Stick with us. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. If I needed to hire someone, I'd go right to Indeed and be very specific about what I need. Real experience, not just a resume buzzword. You can use Indeed sponsored jobs and spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give it the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointments today. Fight on, my men.
There you go.
I am hurt, but I am not slain. I'll lay me down and bleed a while and rise to fight again. Our last Levy Grail of the year, which is when we take the teams that don't make the playoffs and we give you reasons to be optimistic about the future, optimism only. And of course, the name Levy Grail pays homage to Marv Levy and him using that exact Scottish ballad. Yeah, that I said there, those first four lines to rally and galvanize the Buffalo Bills after they kept losing Super Bowls. So here we are. The last one, Kyle Krabs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's buzzing for you in terms of the reasons to be optimistic?
Yeah, I think you look at some of the personnel that's in place and you feel like there's a capability to perform at a higher level. Mike Evans being as hurt as he was, and Baker Mayfield and had a fall off this year than what it was with Liam Cohen and some scheme changes there, and how well Emeka Egbuka started, but the inefficiency of some of his targets, there's natural growth that I think can take place there. That offensive line was really banged up, so you just get those guys healthy and get back on the horse. That, to me, is kind of where I think this, at least on the offensive side of the ball, has to start. Is it's like, I feel like you've got the pieces you need to be a much better unit than 18th in the league in scoring offense.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that gives me a lot of optimism about the Bucs moving forward is just how banged up they were this past year. Like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, Jalen McMillan, Tristan Wirfs, Luke Goedeke, Cody Mauk, Kalijah Kancey, Jamel Dean, Zion McCollum. Like, it's too much. It's too those players miss too much time. Those are your key foundational pieces of this roster, and they didn't meet expectations. And I think that consistent lack of having your best players played into it. And you certainly had Baker Mayfield playing through that oblique. And then just the receivers were never consistent around him. Bucky Irving in the running game the O-line was never consistent around him. So I'm not surprised that, Baker didn't have his best season when the things that he's relying on to be stable around him, while again getting another offensive coordinator, there's a lot of complicating factors here that explain some of the shortcomings of this team that I think people had a lot of more expectation than what we got out of this team. So it'd be nice to put those injuries behind us and, have a healthy squad going into 2026.
So I think a lot of their to-do list is still pretty reasonable, too. Expiring contracts include Mike Evans, Hassan Reddick, Jamel Dean, Levante David. Those are 4 meaningful players, right? But I think you could talk yourself into either side of the coin being the right decision with, I think, any of those 4 players, right? When you consider Mike's 32,
yeah,
Levante's 36. It's been time for a few years to start thinking about life after Levante David. This might be it. Jamel Dean's kind of at that like awkward window of getting close to 30. This time next year, he'll be 30 for a big corner. Like, I think there's some natural transition that could be set on the table, but I don't see players in their prime. Like, Logan Hall's probably the best player that's in the prime of his career that's an expiring contract.
I don't think you sweat that one, especially with what Elijah Roberts showed you this year.
Good player.
But they also, I think you mentioned Jamel Dean, who had a great season before he got injured. But that's why you drafted Morrison and Parrish, right? Like, and that's one of my favorite things about this team is the secondary talent that they have of Jacob Parrish, who I thought was awesome this year, Ben Morrison, Zion McCollum, who they paid, Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield. Like, you're good to go. Just find a pass rusher and a Mike linebacker and get Kalijah Cansey healthy. Right. Like, I feel like that's going to be so critical for like the direction of that defense. There's so much to like about that. And then offensively, dude, they got an O-line, like one of the best left tackles in the league. They got weapons. I don't think it's hard for them to figure out where the upgrades need to come. They have a little bit of cap space, $16.5 million with 52 players under contract. That's before we start to pull any levers. They have all of their 7 organic draft picks. Like, to me, it's not a hard formula of, hey, this is what we need. This is our opportunity to get it. Let's just get healthy and go play. I think they're going to be fine.
They also have very easily adjustable salary cap figures for names like Baker Mayfield's got a $30 million roster bonus. He's got a $52 million cap charge. You know what you should do? Convert that and spread it out. Get a little bit more cap space, help you get compliant. Luke Gadecki's got a $20 million roster bonus. Zion McCollum's got a almost $13 million roster bonus. Those names for those sums. And then Tristan Wirfs has $26 million base salary. Chris Godwin, I probably wouldn't mess with that one, and only positive things. So that's all I'm going to say about Chris Godwin at this stage for the cost. But Antoine Winfield, 19.5. Vita Vea, 17 for base salaries. You can do a lot of wiggle room as you need to, and anything and everything should be on the table for them. They also currently enter into 2026 with just over $250,000 in dead cap space, and that's
healthy. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Some teams got over like 35, 40 million already for next year already before they make personnel moves.
Nice to have clean, like you're not just paying a bunch of players to not be on your team. It's tough. Yeah. The division as well. I mean, what are you afraid of? You afraid of Bryce Young and the Panthers? You afraid of Kevin Stefanski taking over the Falcons, the Saints? They look pretty decent. I mean, maybe if that's your biggest concern is the Saints, like, okay, let's go. I think there's a really clear path for them to be hosting playoff games next year at Raymond James.
Right, getting back in the swing of it.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine.
Anything else?
Creamsicles are nice, man.
Creamsicles are nice. Highly recommend we continue to wear them.
The white ones this year,
even better.
Super nice. Yeah, here for it.
So Tampa, you got a lot to look forward to this offseason, I think.
Agreed.
That's going to do it for us, though. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, we appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We are back tomorrow for Takes on Takes, where you provide your hot takes. We react to your hot takes. Joe's going to actually go solicit the takes right now. So you'll get the behind the curtain if you get to the end of the show today on what time we were recording based on what time this tweet goes out. And make sure you leave us a take, and we'll react to the best ones tomorrow on the show. We hope to see you then.